Hello, English learners. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sarah, and today we are going to unlock powerful C2 advanced vocabulary that real native speakers use in daily life without even realizing it. You'll learn adjectives, nouns, and verbs that make your English sound clearer, richer, more expressive, and beautifully natural. These words will help you express subtle emotions, describe experiences with precision, and speak in a way that feels effortless and confident. Before starting, I just want to let you know that we upload English learning videos every day, so subscribe so you never miss a new lesson. Let's begin by easing into this with the first idea. Advanced vocabulary is not about sounding complicated or showing off. It's about expressing yourself accurately and naturally. When your vocabulary becomes more precise, your communication becomes smoother. You say exactly what you mean without searching for words, and people feel more connected to you. So today, I want you to feel that you are upgrading your English in a gentle, natural way. No pressure, no stress. Just absorbing beautiful words that make your English more alive. Imagine you're talking to a friend about your long day. Instead of saying, "I was very tired," you could say, "I was utterly exhausted." The word utterly adds intensity and emotion. It shows depth. Or when someone shares good news, instead of saying, "That's very good," you could say, "That's genuinely wonderful." The word genuinely shows sincerity. These small upgrades transform your tone. They make your English sound thoughtful and emotionally intelligent, which is exactly how native speakers communicate. Another powerful word is overwhelmed. Many learners only use busy, but overwhelmed is different. You use it when your responsibilities or emotions feel heavier than usual. For example, "I felt overwhelmed at work today because everything happened at once." This describes the emotional pressure, not just the workload. This word fits naturally into daily conversation, especially when you want to share how you felt in a deeper, more honest way. It's advanced because it communicates emotion with precision. Now imagine someone asks how your week has been. Instead of saying, "It was normal," you could say, "It was fairly uneventful." This phrase is elegant, calm, and very native sounding. Uneventful means nothing big happened, but it does not sound negative. It simply sounds reflective and mature. You can feel how these words carry emotional nuance that simple vocabulary cannot deliver. Another wonderful daily life word is resonate. You use it when something feels meaningful or relatable. For example, "What you said really resonated with me." This means the idea connected with your feelings or experiences. Native speakers say this often when they want to express understanding on a deeper level, and because it is emotional without being dramatic, it fits perfectly in everyday conversation. Let's practice together gently. Repeat after me, slowly and naturally. "What you said really resonated with me." Now again, softer. "That idea resonated with me." Feel how natural it becomes once your mouth gets used to forming the word. Now let's move into another advanced but daily life verb, navigate. In C2 English, you don't only navigate roads, you navigate situations, emotions, conversations, or challenges. You might say, "I'm still learning how to navigate this new routine." This means you are learning to manage it or move through it carefully. Or you might say, I had to navigate a difficult conversation at work today. It shows emotional awareness, maturity, and clarity. This is the type of English that leaves a strong impression. Now imagine you want to express that something annoyed you, but you want to keep it gentle and sophisticated. You could say, it was slightly frustrating, or even better, it became increasingly frustrating. The word increasingly shows a slow buildup of emotion. It tells the listener the feeling grew over time. These details make your speaking more precise and more natural. Try repeating this. The situation became increasingly frustrating. Now once more. It became increasingly frustrating. Keep the rhythm steady. Feel how smooth it sounds. Another brilliant advanced adjective for daily life is meticulous. You use it to describe someone who pays extremely close attention to details. If your friend is very careful and organized, you can say, she's meticulous with her work. This is a very positive word, used by native speakers to describe someone responsible, reliable, or perfectionistic in a good way. You can also use it for tasks. For example, this project requires meticulous planning. Notice how the word automatically elevates the tone. Now let's talk about a word that is extremely common among educated native speakers. Inevitable. This word means something that is bound to happen and cannot be avoided. You might say, it was inevitable that I would feel tired after such a long day. Or, with so much pressure, burnout becomes inevitable. You can hear how naturally it fits into daily life statements. It makes your thinking sound clearer and more structured. Try repeating this softly. It was inevitable. Now again, it became inevitable. Let these words settle into your speaking habits. Now let's gently shift to a beautiful adjective, mindful. You've probably heard it, but using it correctly makes your English sound calm and emotionally intelligent. Mindful means being aware and thoughtful, especially in your actions or emotions. In daily life, you can say, I'm trying to be more mindful of how I spend my time, or I was mindful of his feelings during the conversation. This shows emotional maturity and a deeper awareness of others. Another elegant and very natural word is immersed. This means deeply involved in something, mentally or emotionally. You can say, I was completely immersed in my work. Or, she's immersed in her studies right now. This is a beautiful way to express focus and dedication, and repeat this with me. I was completely immersed. Again, I'm immersed in this moment. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this lesson, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. Your support helps our community grow, and I'm so grateful you're learning with me. All right, let's continue. Another powerful, natural C2 level verb is anticipate. While many learners only use expect, anticipate is richer. It means preparing for something mentally or emotionally. You might say, I anticipated a difficult conversation today, or I anticipate a busy week ahead. This is gentle, natural, and very native-like. Let's practice. I anticipate a busy day. Again, I anticipated the challenge. These small upgrades slowly build your fluency. Another daily life noun that sounds very advanced is insight. This means a deeper understanding about a situation or person. You could say, Talking to her gave me a lot of insight. Or, that book offered valuable insight into human behavior. It's simple, elegant, and incredibly common among native speakers, even in casual conversation. Now practice with me. That gave me insight. Again. I gained insight from that moment. Another powerful adjective is genuine. When you describe someone as genuine, you mean honest, sincere, and real. You can say, "He's a genuine person," or "I appreciate your genuine support." It makes your language sound emotionally deep and thoughtful. Repeat with me. I appreciate your genuine support. Let's end this first section with a soft but powerful word, grounded. When someone is grounded, it means they are calm, stable, and emotionally balanced. You can say, "Talking to her makes me feel grounded," or "I'm trying to stay grounded during stressful times." This is daily life emotional vocabulary, used constantly by native speakers. Repeat softly, "I feel grounded." Again, "I'm staying grounded." When you allow these advanced words to settle into your everyday thoughts, something beautiful begins to happen. You start expressing ideas with greater clarity. You begin noticing how each emotion, each situation, each little experience has a more accurate word waiting for it. And that accuracy gives you confidence. It makes you feel like you're finally speaking English in the way you've always imagined. So let's continue expanding your vocabulary gently, adding words that real native speakers use without sounding formal or academic. These words feel natural. They flow like warm conversation. One of the most elegant daily life adjectives you can use is subtle. Many learners only use a little or not very strong. But subtle describes something small, delicate, or hard to notice. For example, "There was a subtle change in his tone," or "I noticed a subtle difference in the flavor." When you use subtle, people feel that you're paying attention. It shows awareness and sensitivity. You can even use it emotionally, like, "Her smile was subtle, but it felt warm." That single word paints a vivid picture. Now let's practice it together, slowly. "It was a subtle change." And again, "I noticed a subtle difference." Feel how gentle the word is. That softness is exactly why native speakers use it so often. Another advanced but beautifully natural word is reluctant. Instead of saying, "I didn't want to," reluctant expresses hesitation without sounding rude or childish. You could say, "I was reluctant to join the meeting because I was tired." Or, "He seemed reluctant to talk about it." This word is perfect when you want to express feelings politely. It's a strong emotional vocabulary tool because it allows you to share discomfort in a gentle, respectful way. Let's practice. "I felt reluctant." Now again, "She was reluctant to agree." Another useful verb is acknowledge. It means to recognize something, to admit it, or to show appreciation. Instead of saying, "I know" or "I agree," you could say, "I acknowledge your point." In emotional conversations, you might say, "I acknowledge that this is hard." This shows empathy and understanding. You can also use it to express gratitude. "I want to acknowledge your support." This word brings emotional clarity into conversation. Try saying it. "I acknowledge your effort." And again, "I acknowledge the challenge." Now let's explore a powerful daily life noun, perspective. Many learners say opinion, but perspective is deeper. It refers to your overall way of seeing a situation. For example, talking to him changed my perspective, or traveling gave me a new perspective on life. It sounds thoughtful, reflective, and very natural. In daily conversation, perspective helps you express personal growth or changing emotions. Repeat with me. It gave me a new perspective. And again, from my perspective. Another elegant adjective is intentional. This means doing something on purpose, with thought, or planning. You might say, I'm trying to be more intentional with my time, or her actions were very intentional. It adds maturity to your language because it shows awareness and control over your decisions. Native speakers use this constantly when talking about goals, emotions, habits, or relationships. Try repeating this softly. I want to be more intentional. Again, it was an intentional choice. Next, let's look at the verb emphasize. This is used when you want to highlight something or give it extra importance. In daily conversation, you could say, I want to emphasize how grateful I am, or she emphasized the importance of rest. Instead of repeating yourself, emphasize lets you show importance in one elegant sentence. Repeat after me. I want to emphasize this point. Again. She emphasized the idea. Now, here's a beautiful, deeply emotional adjective. Vulnerable. It means open, honest, and not hiding your emotions. In daily life, you might say, I felt vulnerable sharing that story. Or, he was vulnerable with me about his fears. Native speakers use this word during meaningful conversations because it expresses emotional honesty. It's a strong word, but it brings softness and connection. Say it gently. I felt vulnerable, and again, he became vulnerable. Another advanced daily life verb is clarify. You use it when you want to make something easier to understand. You can say, let me clarify what I mean, or I asked her to clarify the details. It's polite and clear, instead of repeating yourself or explaining awkwardly. Clarify makes the conversation cleaner and more mature. Let's practice. Let me clarify this. Again. She clarified the situation. Another beautiful word I want you to feel comfortable using is appreciate. This is common, but when used sincerely, it becomes powerful. Instead of saying, thank you, you can say, I really appreciate your time, or I appreciate your patience. The word appreciate adds warmth. It shows that you notice the effort someone made. Native speakers rely on this word daily, especially in friendly or professional situations. Try it with me. I appreciate your help. Now again, I really appreciate that. Another strong daily life verb is prioritize. It means deciding what is most important and giving it your focus. You might say, I need to prioritize my rest, or we should prioritize the most urgent tasks. This is a mature and very common verb among native speakers because it expresses purpose and decision-making. Repeat softly. I need to prioritize this. Again. We prioritized the important parts. Now, let's bring in a lovely adjective, consistent. This means doing something regularly, steadily, or dependably. It's used in daily conversation to show reliability or habit. For example, she's very consistent with her exercise routine, or you'll improve if you stay consistent. This word is deeply connected with growth. Practice with me. I want to be consistent. Again, consistency helps. Now let's talk about a powerful verb. Reflect. Many learners only use think, but reflect is deeper. You use it when you think carefully about something, often emotionally. You might say, I need time to reflect, or I've been reflecting on my goals. This sounds mature, thoughtful, and sensitive. It brings emotional depth into simple conversations. Try repeating, I need to reflect on this. Again, I've been reflecting a lot. Another elegant daily life noun you should use is habit. It's simple, but when combined with advanced vocabulary, it becomes powerful. You might say, I'm trying to build healthier habits. Or, breaking old habits takes time. Habit fits into any discussion about daily routines, personal growth, or emotional challenges. Now repeat, I'm building new habits. Again, changing habits takes patience. Let's bring in a very natural adjective, overly. This word adds nuance. If something is too much, instead of saying too emotional, you can say overly emotional. Instead of too complicated, you can say overly complicated. This makes your speaking more precise, without sounding dramatic. Repeat after me. It was overly complicated. Again, he was overly excited. Another beautiful advanced verb is adapt. This means adjusting to a new situation. Daily life requires this constantly. You can say, I'm learning to adapt to the new schedule, or we adapted quickly. This is one of the most useful verbs in real conversations about change. Repeat, I adapted quickly. Again, I'm learning to adapt. Another powerful but gentle adjective is significant. Instead of saying very important, you can say, it was a significant moment, or this decision is significant for me. It elevates your language and adds emotional weight. Try repeating, it was significant. Again, a significant change happened. As you let these words settle into your speaking, you'll notice something deeper happening. You begin to express emotions more accurately. You navigate conversations with more confidence. You feel more in control of your ideas, and people feel that you speak with clarity and intention. As we continue, I want you to notice how these advanced C2 words don't feel heavy or complicated. They feel soft, natural, almost gentle, in the way they help you describe your life with precision. When you use them, you're not trying to impress anyone. You're simply giving your thoughts a clearer shape. And this is what fluent English truly feels like. It feels like selecting the right color for each emotion, the right rhythm for each moment. So, let's keep going and bring more subtle, powerful vocabulary into your daily speaking. One of the most beautiful daily life verbs is reassure. This means to comfort someone, to help them feel less worried or anxious. Instead of saying, don't worry, you can say, let me reassure you, everything will be okay. Or in daily conversations, you might say, talking to her reassured me, which means her words made you feel calmer. Native speakers use reassure constantly because it expresses emotional support with depth and kindness. Let's practice this gently. He reassured me. Now again, I want to reassure you. Feel how comforting that word is. It holds emotion quietly but strongly. Another elegant adjective that fits perfectly into everyday conversations is compelling. You use it when something is very interesting, or persuasive. For example, that story was compelling, or she made a compelling argument. This word adds sophistication without sounding formal. It tells your listener that something captured your attention strongly. Repeat after me. That idea is compelling. Again, it was a compelling reason. Now let's explore a quiet but powerful verb, contemplate. Instead of simply saying, think, contemplate means thinking deeply or carefully. You might say, I've been contemplating some changes in my life, or I need time to contemplate my options. This word sounds reflective, emotionally intelligent, and very natural among native speakers. Practice this gently. I need to contemplate it. Again, I've been contemplating this idea. Another advanced adjective that fits beautifully into daily communication is efficient. Many learners know it, but few use it naturally in conversation. Efficient means doing something well, without wasting time or energy. You might say, she has a very efficient way of organizing things, or I'm trying to be more efficient with my schedule. It's practical, mature, and extremely common. Repeat softly. I want to be more efficient. Again. This method is efficient. Now let's bring in a very expressive verb. Overestimate. This means believing something is bigger, harder, or more important than it really is. You can say, I think I overestimated how much time I had. Or, don't overestimate the difficulty. You can handle this. It's a useful daily life word, especially when talking about plans, emotions, or challenges. Try repeating. I overestimated the time. Again, don't overestimate the problem. Another lovely daily life adjective is authentic. It means real, true, honest. You can say, I appreciate people who are authentic. Or, her reaction felt authentic. When you use authentic, you sound emotionally aware and grounded. It's the opposite of fake, but in a gentle, respectful way. Repeat with me. I want to be authentic. Again. Her response was authentic. Now let's bring in a word that adds emotional softness to your speaking. Soothing. You use it to describe something that calms you. A voice, music, atmosphere, or moment. You might say, her voice is very soothing. Or, I had a soothing evening after a busy day. It brings emotional warmth into the conversation. Say it softly. That was soothing. Again. Her voice is soothing. Another deeply useful verb is adjust. It means making small changes to feel more comfortable or to fit better into a situation. You can say, I'm still adjusting to my new routine. Or, give him some time to adjust. It's gentle, empathetic, and very common in daily life because change is constant. Repeat after me. I'm adjusting slowly. Again, he needs time to adjust. Now let's talk about the noun presence. This word is beautiful because it describes someone's energy, aura, or the feeling they bring into a room. For example, she has a calming presence, or his presence makes everyone feel comfortable. It's emotional, elegant, and extremely common in native conversation. Practice gently. Your presence is comforting. Again, she has a peaceful presence. Another elegant daily life adjective is gradual. Instead of saying slowly, you can say, my progress has been gradual. Or, There was a gradual improvement. This word adds control and calmness. It shows that change happens step by step, and you're aware of that process. Say it with me. It was a gradual change. Again. My progress is gradual. Now let's expand into an advanced verb, interpret. This means understanding the meaning of something, especially when it's not obvious. You might say, I interpreted his silence as discomfort. Or, how do you interpret this message? It's perfect for conversations about feelings, communication, or misunderstandings. Repeat softly. How do you interpret it? Again. I interpreted it differently. Another gentle daily life adjective is mutual. You use it when something is shared between two people, like understanding, respect, or feelings. You could say, we have mutual trust, or the decision was mutual. It's a warm, emotionally balanced word. Practice. We have mutual respect. Again, the understanding was mutual. Now let's explore the verb demonstrate. Instead of only saying show, demonstrate adds clarity and purpose. You might say, she demonstrated great patience, or this demonstrates how much effort you put in. It's not formal, it's thoughtful, and helps you express deeper meaning. Repeat with me. This demonstrates growth. Again, she demonstrated kindness. Another advanced but natural word is proactive. This means taking action before a problem appears, rather than waiting. You might say, I'm trying to be more proactive about my health, or being proactive prevents stress. This word is perfect when talking about responsibility or planning. Say it gently. I want to be proactive. Again, she's very proactive. Now let's bring in the adjective expressive. This means someone shows their emotions clearly through tone, face, or words. You might say, he's very expressive, or your voice is expressive. This word helps you describe emotional behavior in a warm, natural way. Repeat. She's expressive. Again, your tone is expressive. Another beautiful daily life verb is stabilize. This means returning to balance or calm after difficulty. You might say, things are starting to stabilize, or I needed time to stabilize my emotions. It's comforting, emotional, and very common when talking about life changes. Try repeating, things are stabilizing. Again, I feel more stable now. Now let's bring in an elegant noun, intuition. This means your natural feeling or instinct about something. You might say, I trusted my intuition, or my intuition told me something was wrong. It's powerful, emotional, and deeply connected to everyday conversations. Say it softly. I trusted my intuition. Again, my intuition guided me. Another advanced adjective you'll love using is transparent. When someone is transparent, they are honest and open. You might say, I appreciate how transparent she is, or let's be transparent about our plans. It's a respectful, mature way to talk about honesty. Repeat after me. Let's be transparent. Again, he was very transparent. As we continue to build these words into your daily thinking, your English becomes more expressive and more human. You start reflecting feelings with nuance instead of simple or flat expressions. And every time you use one of these words, you move closer to the fluent, confident version of yourself. As we move deeper into these advanced expressions, I want you to feel how naturally they blend into daily life. None of these words are academic or cold. They carry emotion, clarity, and real human experience. And when you start using them, people feel that clarity in your tone. They feel that you understand subtleties. They notice that your English has texture, warmth, and precision. This is why vocabulary at this level is not about memorizing long lists. It's about connecting each word to your real life, your real feelings, your real conversations. With that in mind, let's continue expanding your expressive power. A beautiful daily life adjective that will instantly elevate your speaking is deliberate. This means done on purpose, with intention. Instead of saying, I did it slowly or I did it carefully, you can say, I took a deliberate pause before answering, or her movements were deliberate and calm. It expresses calm control, thoughtful action, and emotional maturity. You can even use it to describe choices. It was a deliberate decision. Notice how clear and confident it sounds. Repeat this softly. It was a deliberate choice. Again, I took a deliberate pause. Another elegant verb you'll find deeply useful is regulate. In daily life, we regulate emotions, reactions, breathing, and even our habits. Instead of simply saying, control your emotions, you can say, I'm trying to regulate my emotions better. This sounds kind, gentle, and very emotionally intelligent. It's also extremely natural in modern English, especially in conversations about self-care or stress. Try repeating, I'm learning to regulate my emotions. Again, I need time to regulate my thoughts. Now let's talk about an advanced adjective that native speakers use constantly. Substantial. This means large, meaningful, or important. Instead of saying a lot, you can say there was substantial improvement, or I received substantial support. It adds weight to your message and makes your communication more mature. Repeat with me. There was substantial progress. Again, it made a substantial difference. Another powerful daily life verb is acknowledge, which we discussed earlier. But now I want to deepen it. You can use it in emotional conversations where you want to validate someone's feelings. For example, I acknowledge how hard this must be for you, or she acknowledged her mistake. It's gentle, honest, and very human. You can also use it to express gratitude. I appreciate that, and I want to acknowledge your effort. Repeat softly. I acknowledge your feelings. Again, I acknowledge your honesty. Let's move into a word that helps you describe emotional closeness. Empathetic. When someone understands your feelings deeply and genuinely, they are empathetic. You can say, she was very empathetic during our conversation. Or, I'm trying to be more empathetic. This word shows emotional awareness and respect. It's perfect for describing meaningful interactions. Practice this gently. He was empathetic. Again, I'm trying to be empathetic. Another very natural daily life verb is withdraw. Not in the financial sense, emotionally. When someone becomes quiet or distant, you can say, I withdrew for a moment because I needed space. Or, he tends to withdraw when he's stressed. This word allows you to describe emotional changes with sensitivity and precision. Try repeating, I withdrew for a moment. Again, he tends to withdraw. Now let's explore a very useful noun. tension. This describes emotional or physical tightness. You might say, there was some tension in the room, or I felt tension in my shoulders. It's a soft way to describe stress without being dramatic. Native speakers use it constantly to talk about mood, relationships, or physical feelings. Say it with me. I felt tension. Again, there was tension between them. Another beautiful advanced verb is embrace. Instead of saying accept something, you can say, I'm learning to embrace the uncertainty, or she embraced the opportunity. It sounds warm, positive, and emotionally mature. It's perfect for conversations about personal growth or change. Repeat, I'm learning to embrace it. Again, he embraced the challenge. Let's bring in another powerful adjective. Predictable. You might think it's simple, but when used emotionally, it becomes advanced. You can say, his reaction was predictable, or my routine became too predictable. It communicates subtle dissatisfaction or familiarity without negativity. It softens your tone. Try repeating. It felt predictable. Again, her reaction was predictable. Now let's add a beautiful noun that fits perfectly into emotional conversations. Clarity. Instead of saying, I understand, you can say, that conversation gave me clarity, or I needed clarity before making a decision. This word expresses emotional awareness, reflection, and maturity. Repeat softly. I found clarity. Again, I needed clarity. Another useful daily life verb is reconsider. It means to think again about a decision or idea. Instead of saying, I changed my mind, you can say, I decided to reconsider my plans, or he reconsidered his opinion. It adds thoughtfulness to your tone. Try repeating, I'm going to reconsider. Again. She reconsidered her decision. Now let's move to a gentle advanced adjective, compatible. This means two things or two people work well together. You can say, we have compatible personalities. Or this schedule isn't compatible with my routine. Native speakers use it a lot when talking about relationships, habits, or preferences. Practice. We're compatible. Again. It's not compatible with my schedule. A powerful but soft verb you'll love is enhance. It means to improve or make something better in a noticeable way. You might say, this practice will enhance your fluency, or the music enhanced the atmosphere. It's common, elegant, and very natural. Repeat gently. It enhanced my experience. Again, this will enhance your skills. Another beautiful daily life word is subdued. It describes something quiet, gentle, or softened. You can say, he seemed subdued today, or the lighting was subdued and calming. It adds emotional texture to your description. Say it softly. He was subdued. Again, the atmosphere was subdued. Now let's add an advanced verb you will use constantly. Process. Not computer processing, emotional processing. For example, I need time to process what happened. Or, she's still processing the news. This is extremely natural among native speakers when talking about emotions, change, or unexpected events. Try repeating, I'm processing it. Again, she's still processing it. Another elegant adjective is ambitious. Instead of saying, I want to do a lot, you can say, I'm feeling ambitious, or she set ambitious goals. It expresses drive and motivation with a positive tone. Repeat, I'm feeling ambitious. Again, These goals are ambitious. Now let's bring in the noun stability. It describes emotional or practical balance. You can say, I'm looking for stability in my routine, or he gave me a sense of stability. It's gentle, warm, and extremely common in daily conversations. Repeat softly. I need stability. Again, I feel stable with this. Another beautiful daily life verb is unwind. This means to relax after stress. You might say, I need time to unwind, or I unwind by listening to music. It's warm, calm, and very natural. Repeat. I need to unwind. Again, I'm unwinding now. As you continue absorbing these words, your English becomes more than just communication. It becomes expression. You begin sharing your inner world with accuracy and grace. And that is the heart of fluent, natural English. As you keep expanding your vocabulary, I want you to feel how your speaking becomes calmer and more confident. You don't need to rush. You don't need to force these words. They slowly become a natural part of your voice, slipping into your conversations at the perfect moments. Real fluency is not about speed. It's about comfort. It's about choosing words that match your emotions. It's about feeling like English is not something you perform. It's something you live. So as we continue, let each word settle gently into your thinking. Another advanced yet beautifully simple verb you can start using in daily life is convey. Instead of saying show or tell, convey means to express or communicate an idea, an emotion, or a message. You can say, I'm trying to convey my feelings clearly, or her smile conveyed comfort. It is elegant, warm, and incredibly native-sounding. Repeat this softly. I want to convey my thoughts. Again, her expression conveyed sincerity. Now let's explore a deeply useful adjective, reflective. When someone is reflective, it means they think deeply about things. It's a calm, mature word. You might say, I'm feeling reflective today, or he had a reflective tone. It communicates emotional awareness. It shows that a person is thoughtful, not distracted or reactive. Try repeating, I'm feeling reflective. Again, he seemed reflective. Another powerful daily life verb is maintain. This is a gentle way to talk about keeping something steady, habits, health, emotions, routines. You can say, I'm trying to maintain my focus, or she maintains a healthy balance. It expresses stability, effort, and consistency. Say it slowly. I'm trying to maintain this habit. Again, he maintained a calm attitude. Now let's look at a very natural noun, compromise. This word describes a decision where two people meet in the middle. It's essential in relationships, work, friendship, everywhere. Instead of saying, we both changed our minds, you can say, we reached a compromise, or it required some compromise. It's a mature, emotionally intelligent word. Repeat gently. We reached a compromise. Again, it required compromise. Another elegant adjective that fits beautifully in daily conversation is profound. You can use it when something feels deep, meaningful, or strongly emotional. For example, it was a profound moment. Or, she shared something profound. Native speakers love this word because it adds emotional richness. Without sounding dramatic, repeat softly. It felt profound. Again, a profound change happened. Now let's explore a practical verb, Minimize. This is perfect for daily life. You can say, I'm trying to minimize distractions, or we want to minimize stress. It sounds calm, controlled, and intentional. It's used a lot in conversations about productivity and well-being. Try repeating. I want to minimize stress. Again, we minimized the problems. Another gentle adjective is attentive. This means paying close attention or caring about details. You might say, she's always attentive, or he was attentive to my feelings. It describes someone who listens, notices, and cares. Extremely useful for emotional conversations. Repeat. She was attentive. Again. I'm trying to be attentive. Let's bring in a very expressive verb, assess. This means to evaluate, examine, or think carefully about something before acting. Instead of saying, I'm checking, you can say, I need to assess the situation. You might also say, she assessed her priorities. It sounds calm and strategic. Repeat softly, let me assess this. Again. He assessed the options. Another advanced daily life noun is discomfort. Instead of saying, I felt bad or I felt strange, you can say, I felt some discomfort when he spoke that way, or there was emotional discomfort in that moment. It expresses feelings in a soft but precise way. Say it gently. I felt discomfort. Again. There was discomfort in the room. Now let's explore an elegant adjective, discreet. It means careful, private, or respectful when dealing with sensitive information. You might say, he was discreet about my situation, or I tried to be discreet. It's a very native-sounding word used in polite conversation. Repeat, I'll be discreet. Again. She was discreet. Another beautiful verb is cultivate. This means to grow something slowly, a habit, a skill, a relationship, a mindset. You can say, I'm cultivating patience, or we're cultivating a better routine. It's gentle, hopeful, and incredibly expressive. Practice with me. I'm cultivating new habits. Again. She cultivated confidence. Now let's bring in the noun assumption. This describes something you believe without proof. You might say, I realize my assumption was wrong, or we should avoid assumptions. It's a mature way of talking about misunderstandings or expectations. Repeat softly. I made an assumption. Again. Let's avoid assumptions. Another powerful adjective is intentional, which we touched on earlier, but now let's deepen it. You can describe speech, actions, or habits as intentional when they're done with meaning and purpose. For example, I'm being intentional with my time, or her approach was intentional. It adds clarity and direction to your message. Say it gently. I want to be intentional. Now let's add a beautiful daily life verb, restructure. This means reorganizing something to make it better. You can say, I'm restructuring my routine, or we need to restructure the plan. It sounds natural and thoughtful. Perfect. For talking about life changes, repeat. I need to restructure my schedule. Again, they restructured everything. Let's explore another elegant adjective, receptive. This means being open to new ideas, opinions, or feedback. You can say, I'm receptive to suggestions, or he wasn't very receptive today. It communicates emotional openness. Practice this. I'm receptive to new ideas. Again, she was receptive. Another essential daily life verb is interpret. which we used earlier. Now use it in emotional contexts. For example, I didn't interpret his reaction as negative, or everyone interprets things differently. This builds emotional nuance. Repeat softly. I interpreted it calmly. Again, we interpret experiences differently. Now let's add a calming noun. Solitude. This means peaceful alone time. You might say, I enjoy moments of solitude, or solitude helps me recharge. Native speakers love this word because it sounds peaceful and introspective. Say it gently. I need solitude. Again, solitude feels comforting. Another advanced adjective is adaptable. This means flexible, able to adjust to new situations. You can say, she's very adaptable, or I'm trying to be more adaptable. This is one of the most practical words in real-life communication. Repeat. I'm adaptable. Again, he's adaptable. Now let's add an elegant verb you'll love, differentiate. This means recognizing the difference between things. You might say, I'm learning to differentiate between stress and exhaustion, or he couldn't differentiate the two tasks. It adds clarity to your thoughts. Repeat softly. I can differentiate them. Again, I'm learning to differentiate. Another very natural daily life noun is insight, which you learned earlier. Now deepen it. You can say, she offered valuable insight, or that experience gave me insight into myself. It communicates wisdom, gently and naturally. Say it softly. I gained insight. Again, that gave me insight. As you breathe these words into your speech, you'll notice your English changing from simple statements to expressive, mature communication. That transformation is already happening inside you, word by word. As your vocabulary becomes richer, your confidence begins to expand in ways you may not even notice at first. You start expressing emotions with greater accuracy. Your conversations become smoother. You no longer reach for simple words because you finally have the language to match your thoughts. This is the beauty of advanced daily life vocabulary. It makes your communication feel authentic, calm, and fully you. And as we continue, I want you to feel that your English voice is becoming stronger, more expressive, and more natural with every sentence. Another advanced daily life verb that will make your communication sound incredibly fluent is reassess. It means to evaluate something again, especially after learning new information or experiencing a change. You might say, I need to reassess my plans, or she reassessed her priorities. This word fits perfectly into conversations about growth and decision-making. Repeat softly. I need to reassess things. Again, he reassessed his approach. Now let's explore a beautiful adjective, reserved. When someone is reserved, they are quiet, calm, or not overly expressive. You might say, he's a bit reserved, or she seemed reserved today. It's a gentle way to describe someone without sounding judgmental. It's emotionally sensitive and very natural. Practice gently. He seemed reserved. Again, I felt more reserved today. Now let's bring in a powerful verb, navigate. You can use it not just for routines, but also for emotions or complex interactions. You might say, I'm learning to navigate difficult conversations. Or, it takes time to navigate new responsibilities. This gives your speech emotional precision. Repeat. I'm navigating a new situation. Again, She navigated it gracefully. Another beautiful daily life adjective is reassuring. It describes something that brings comfort, peace, or confidence. You could say, her words were reassuring, or the atmosphere felt reassuring. It's a warm, soft word that native speakers use often. Say it calmly. That was reassuring. Again, his tone was reassuring. Now let's expand into a deeply useful noun, momentum. This describes continuous movement, or progress. You might say, I'm building momentum with my routine, or, once I started, the momentum carried me. It's a common, expressive word in conversations about habits, growth, or motivation. Repeat softly, I'm gaining momentum. Again, the momentum helped me continue. Another natural adjective you'll love is apprehensive. This means feeling unsure or slightly nervous about something. Instead of saying, I'm a little scared, you can say, I'm feeling apprehensive, or she was apprehensive about the change. It expresses emotion softly and maturely. Repeat, I feel a little apprehensive. Again, he was apprehensive. Now let's bring in the verb, reinforce. This means to strengthen or support something, especially an idea or behavior. You might say, this practice reinforces my confidence, or her words reinforced my belief. It's elegant, natural, and very effective. Say it. This reinforces my progress. Again, the experience reinforced my understanding. Another advanced daily life adjective is influential. This means something or someone has the power to affect your thoughts or actions. You may say, she's an influential person in my life, or that book was influential. It's a thoughtful, reflective word. Repeat softly, it was influential. Again, she became influential. Now let's talk about a verb that adds emotional depth, acknowledge. You could say, I need to acknowledge my feelings, or I acknowledge my progress. This helps you sound emotionally aware and grounded. Repeat, I acknowledge what I feel. Again, I acknowledge my growth. Another incredibly versatile verb is retain. This means to keep something, information, emotion, energy, or a habit. You can say, I try to retain positive thoughts, or she retained everything from the meeting. It's soft and sophisticated. Say it gently. I'm trying to retain this knowledge. Again, he retained the information. Let's move to a calming adjective, balanced. You might say, I'm trying to stay balanced, or my day felt balanced. It expresses calmness and emotional stability. Repeat softly, I feel balanced. Again, I'm staying balanced. Another advanced daily life verb is evaluate. It means to judge, consider, or analyze something carefully. You could say, I need to evaluate my options, or he evaluated the situation. It brings clarity to your words. Repeat, let me evaluate this. Again, she evaluated the results. Now let's explore a beautiful noun, alignment. This means your actions, feelings, or values match each other. You might say, I'm trying to live in alignment with my goals, or this decision feels in alignment with my values. It's a very expressive, modern English word. Say it gently. This feels in alignment. Again, I want alignment in my life. Another elegant adjective is perceptive. You can say, she's very perceptive, or that was a perceptive comment. This word shows emotional intelligence. Repeat softly. You're very perceptive. Again. He made a perceptive remark. Now let's bring in the verb, clarify. You might say, let me clarify my point. Or, I asked him to clarify what he meant. It makes your communication smooth and respectful. Say it. I want to clarify this. Again. She clarified her thoughts. Another daily life adjective is reliable. You might say, he's a reliable friend. Or, this method is reliable. It communicates stability and confidence. Repeat gently. He's reliable. Again, it's reliable. Now let's add a verb that feels incredibly natural. Absorb. You might say, I need time to absorb the information. Or, I absorbed the calm energy in the room. It's soft, expressive, and native sounding. Say it slowly. I need to absorb this. Again, she absorbed everything. Another advanced adjective you'll love is constructive. You can say, her feedback was constructive, or let's keep this conversation constructive. It's the perfect word for honest, but kind communication. Repeat softly. That was constructive. Again, I appreciate constructive advice. Now let's bring in another elegant noun, awareness. You might say, I'm building more awareness, or that moment gave me awareness. It's warm and thoughtful. Say it. I'm becoming more aware. Again, that increased my awareness. Another advanced verb is stabilize. You can say, my emotions are stabilizing, or the situation is finally stabilizing. It represents calm, steady progress. Repeat gently. Things are stabilizing. Again, I'm starting to stabilize. As you integrate these words, notice how they let you communicate feelings and situations with honesty, nuance, and grace. Each word becomes a tool for expression, not just for English, but for understanding yourself more deeply. As we move into the last part of this lesson, I want you to feel how much your English has expanded already. You've learned so many expressive, subtle, emotionally intelligent words. You've practiced speaking them softly and naturally. You've absorbed vocabulary that helps you sound more fluent, more precise, and more connected when you communicate. This final section will add a few more beautifully advanced daily life words that blend effortlessly into your natural conversations. And as we finish, I'll leave you with a warm reminder that your progress is real and your voice in English is becoming stronger every day. Let's begin with a powerful verb that you can use in almost any part of daily life. Incorporate. Instead of saying add or include, you can say, I'm trying to incorporate better habits into my routine, or let's incorporate this idea into the plan. It sounds thoughtful and intentional. Native speakers use it constantly, especially when discussing routines, lifestyle changes, or creativity. Repeat gently. I want to incorporate this into my habits. Again, we incorporated that idea. Another beautiful adjective is consistent, which you practiced earlier, but now connect it emotionally. You can say, I'm becoming more consistent with my study routine, or consistency helps me feel grounded. This word reflects steadiness and emotional balance. It is one of the most powerful words in English when you talk about self-growth. Say it softly. I'm staying consistent. Again, consistency helps me grow. Now let's explore a calm but expressive verb, acknowledge. But this time, use it inwardly, toward yourself. You might say, I acknowledge my improvement, or I acknowledge how hard I've been trying. This word helps you speak with self-compassion, something native English speakers do much more often than learners realize. Repeat softly, I acknowledge my progress. Again, I acknowledge my efforts. Another elegant daily life noun is perspective. You might say, that moment changed my perspective. Or, I gained a healthier perspective. Perspective is about the way you see the world, your emotions, or your relationships. It adds emotional maturity to your speaking. Say it gently. I needed a new perspective. Again, my perspective shifted. Now let's bring in a lovely adjective, flexible. Not physically flexible, emotionally flexible. You could say, I'm trying to be more flexible with my expectations. Or, her attitude is flexible and open. This word is extremely common in native conversation because life is unpredictable and flexibility helps us adapt. Practice with me. I'm becoming more flexible. Again, he has a flexible attitude. Another soft but powerful verb is internalize. This means you don't just learn something, you accept it deeply and make it part of who you are. You can say, I'm trying to internalize this lesson, or she internalized the advice. It's expressive and very natural in personal development conversations. Repeat gently, I'm internalizing this. Again, he internalized the message. Now let's talk about a useful daily life adjective, comforting. You can describe a moment, a voice, a person, or even a memory with this word. For example, his presence was comforting, or I find this music comforting. It adds emotional softness to your speaking. Say it slowly. That was comforting. Again, her voice is comforting. Another elegant verb is generate. You can generate ideas, energy, motivation, or enthusiasm. You might say, this routine generates calmness, or talking with her generated motivation. It's simple, but expressive, and works in many daily life contexts. Repeat. This generates positive energy. Again, we generated new ideas. Now let's bring in a thoughtful adjective, intentional. You can use it to describe time, choices, actions, and emotions. You might say, I'm being intentional with my words, or this was an intentional moment of kindness. It adds purpose and clarity to your speech. Repeat gently, I'm speaking intentionally. Again, this was intentional. Another advanced daily life noun is restraint. This means holding back, staying calm, not reacting too quickly. For example, he showed restraint during the conversation, or I'm practicing emotional restraint. It's soft and mature. Say it softly. I showed restraint. Again, she practiced restraint. Now let's add an expressive verb, align. This means to match or fit well with something. You might say, my choices align with my goals, or this aligns with my values. It's a modern, natural, and extremely common word. Repeat gently. This aligns with my goals. Again, my actions align with my intentions. Another elegant daily life adjective is immersive. This describes an experience that pulls you in completely. You can say, the conversation was immersive, or the atmosphere felt immersive. It sounds sophisticated, but natural. Say it softly. It was an immersive experience. Again, I felt immersed. Now let's explore a calm, expressive verb, reconnect. You reconnect with yourself, with others, with emotions, or with memories. You might say, I need to reconnect with what matters, or we reconnected after a long time. It's warm and emotionally rich. Repeat gently, I want to reconnect with myself. Again, we reconnected naturally. Another lovely daily life word is attuned. It means being in harmony or understanding something deeply. You could say, I'm becoming more attuned to my emotions, or she's attuned to people's needs. This is one of the most beautiful emotional vocabulary words in English. Say it softly. I'm attuned to the moment. Again, he's attuned to others. Now let's add the verb, strengthen. You can strengthen habits, relationships, boundaries, focus, or confidence. You might say, I'm strengthening my fluency, or this experience strengthened our connection. It's a warm, empowering word. Repeat gently, I'm strengthening my skills. Again, the experience strengthened me. Another expressive noun is clarity. You can say, I'm gaining clarity, or that conversation brought clarity. It brings peacefulness and calm to your speech. Say it slowly. I feel clarity now. Again, that gave me clarity. And now, as we bring this long, gentle lesson toward its end, let's add one final verb, embrace. We practiced it earlier, but this time, feel its emotional depth, embracing change, embracing growth, embracing your progress. You might say, I'm learning to embrace my journey, or she embraced the experience. This word connects your English directly with your heart. Say it softly. I'm embracing my progress. Again, I embraced the moment. And now that we've built such an expressive vocabulary together, I want you to feel proud of yourself. You've spent this time strengthening your fluency, expanding your emotional expression, and learning how to speak like a natural, confident English speaker. Every word you've practiced today adds something valuable to your voice. Every repetition helps you internalize these elegant, natural expressions, and I want to leave you with a warm reminder. Your English will continue to grow gently, steadily, beautifully. As long as you keep practicing, you've already shown dedication by completing this long lesson, and I'm genuinely proud of you. Your voice matters, your progress matters, and you are absolutely capable of reaching fluency that feels natural and effortless. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm truly grateful you're here, learning with me, step by step, word by word. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and keep embracing your growth. You're doing wonderfully. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons.